Hi, welcome. This is Amanda and Christine. We are so excited that you guys are here and recognizing that if you, like us, we want to have longevity in our sport. We want to live younger longer. We want to feel good. Maybe you were intrigued because you experience stiff joints. You feel like, okay, I'm not in my young 20s or teens anymore. And whoa, what is happening to my body and all the changes going on? And maybe I need to consider how I fuel my body, how I sleep, what nutrition should be coming in, hydration, and even possibly supplementation if you've never done that before. So Amanda and I have truly found some great solutions that have kept us in the game, doing some of the sports that we love and trying new sports as well. So for me, myself, I loved being an athlete growing up. I was predominantly a runner in my high school and then early first year in college. And then that segued into sprint triathlons. And then 11 years ago, I got into strength training and CrossFit and still compete last year as well. I'm 51, I've got 4 kids, and I really love being in a sport and doing things with my kids, doing things with my friends, and just staying active. And so whether you are a weekend warrior, whether you are a competitive athlete, or you're in a fitness class and you want to stay in that sport or exercise as long as possible, we are here to help. So I'm super excited to introduce my colleague, my friend, Amanda, and she's going to share a little bit about herself.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and I am a mom in my 40s now, and I work in the medical field, and I've been an athlete all my life. Now, before I jump in too much about myself, I do want to say Christine does not talk it up enough how what an amazing athlete she is. So, as she's talking about all of this, just know that in the CrossFit world, she picked it up in her 40s, and she is in, as she's done those CrossFit competitions, she's been in the top 50 in the world for her age. So, Christine, I just have to brag on you a little bit about that. Um, so I played sports all my life. And as a teen, my idea of nutrition was really basically like eat whatever you want as long as it doesn't affect your weight. Like if you're staying at the right weight, then that must mean you're eating the right stuff. Well, I moved into playing volleyball in college and um, was in the major, decided to major in athletic training and started learning about nutrition. And lo and behold, found out like, wow, like this could be affecting my sports performance and I could utilize it to help in my athletic performance. Moving into kind of my 20s and 30s, I started struggling with some joint injuries and lack of energy and realized, wow, I might need some solutions here. But I was completely skeptical of the supplement industry because of the background that I had. Um, as an athletic trainer, had learned about studies and poor products out there. And so I was really just completely overwhelmed by the supplement industry. And so thankfully, I'm really grateful that I found a company called Shaklee and started using their products. And I'm going to chat about those here a little bit with you. So I found myself as a mom recovering from having a baby and with a better idea of nutrition with using these products. I was so grateful that I feel like I got into better shape and better fitness than when I was in my 20s. And I'm a big believer in that it's important for us as adults to continue learning and growing and trying new things. And so found myself at the age of 37 getting back into skiing and trying ultimate frisbee and mountain biking for the first time. So as we talk, both Christine and I are very passionate about helping people, particularly adults that maybe find themselves in kind of this middle age category of being able to enjoy the sports that they have always loved, try new things, and not only enjoy it, but to thrive at it. So, as you can see, we're going to talk a little bit about a company called Shaklee. We're going to be talking about nutritional kind of philosophy in general, but you'll also hear us mentioning some products that have really been beneficial for us. And I want you to understand why. As I mentioned, I was a big skeptic and really did my research before I landed on trusting my health and my family's health with Shaklee. It was a company founded in the 1960s, so it's been around for over 65 years with no recalls in its history. It goes above organic. And as you can see there, they test for over 350 different contaminants in the ingredients and in the final product. They do over 100,000 quality control tests a year. There's nothing artificial added to it. And they literally go above and beyond organic, as well as they've led the way in the area of sports nutrition and nutrition research in general. Something that really stood out to me as an athlete is that they have a huge number of Olympic athletes that have chosen to use Shaklee's products. And I think, in fact, the total is now, after the last Olympics, over 146 medals won by Shaklee Olympic athletes. And Shaklee has chosen to work with Olympic athletes because their level of testing for contaminants and for using products that they shouldn't be is so much higher than even for pro athletes. Shaklee's been used by NASA. They've made the rehydration drink for the astronauts, Jacques Cousteau's expeditions. So the list could go on, and we can provide you with the research and things. They have a website where they are completely transparent about the studies that they've done and that you can read about them yourself. So if you're a science nerd like me and you want more information on that, we can provide that. But we wanted you to understand why we are utilizing their products, and we'll reference those as we go. So as we jump into those 5 key things that Christine mentioned, the biggest thing, or the starting foundation, is having a healthy diet. As it says there, the recommendations are that we should now be getting 5 to 7 fruits and vegetables a day. So think about your diet over the past couple of weeks, maybe Thanksgiving aside. What have you been eating? And I've heard people talk that, as they get a little bit older, they're like, well, I'm not a collegiate athlete anymore. I don't really need to focus on, getting all those, be as specific with my diet. And I actually encourage people, as you get in your 20s and 30s, your nutritional needs don't diminish. And in fact, they actually increase in terms of what you need to be getting from nutrient dense food and specific macronutrients, which Christine will talk about in a little bit. So I think as we age, I want you to kind of shift your mindset that when we're younger, we focus on the skill, we focus on our sport, whatever that might be, learning to be really good at those skills. And then off the field is not as important. But as we age, what you do for your body off the field becomes more and more important as we go. So I asked you to think about your diet, then think about what it is that you require or you request of your body to be able to do in your sports or as that weekend warrior. And for most of us, there's then a deficit of like what the fuel that we actually give our body, what we expect it to be able to do. There's this deficit. And I guess I would say, being a little bit older, that deficit is only going to continue to grow as you age. And so you have got to be really proactive to narrow that deficit. So getting your vitamins isn't just a cute little thing that your mom says. It really actually makes an impact on your body's function, not only for sports, but for your immune system, for digestion, your hormones. And so you want to take care of what you're putting in your body. So as you can see there, it lists the things that we know. There's clinical studies, plenty of clinical studies that show that we need these things and they're important for our body's function. If I could emphasize one thing in terms of our diet, it would be to get rid of as much processed food as you can. Decrease the amount of sugar and simple sugar that you're getting. The average American gets 152 pounds of sugar in a year. And if you kind of had the perspective that I did growing up, you think of like sugar as only being ice cream and candy. But in fact, it's just from the processed foods. It's from bread and pasta and crackers and all the things that we get in a box or a bag that's no longer raw, true whole foods. It's what is processed. And so those are the things that I really, really encourage you to start cutting out, not only for your weight, but all those added preservatives and sugars have a long-term negative impact on your body. So when it comes to a diet, you need to make a plan. I've said that having a healthy diet does not happen spontaneously. It's one of those things that we have to put effort into. And it can remain as this vague idea, but if you don't make a plan for it, it's not going to happen, and it will affect how your body feels and how you perform in your sport.
It's so good, Amanda. I love that. And I think even taking it, how does that look like proper nutrition and nutrients? Like, what do we need to get? And I think for so long, Amanda and I both have shared just in our own stories, like we didn't know what to eat, even being athletes and pushing our bodies to levels that we did not fuel our bodies to perform. And so when you're younger, you can get away with some of those things. But as you get older, I love that the gap gets bigger and wider and deeper of we need to really be mindful, intentional, and plan what we're putting into our bodies. So macronutrients, many people have heard that: carbohydrates, proteins, fats. Those are your three groupings of macronutrients that your body needs daily. And depending on your age, your goals as far as your athletic goals, maybe your weight goals, what you want to have happen, your wellness goals, activity level, your energy expenditure that you might do each day, and what that goal is body composition wise, then the number of what you should get gram wise of each of these categories is going to be unique and different. And I know in college, I struggled with an eating disorder and I was super obsessive about what I ate. I was very restrictive and it got me into trouble. I was hospitalized. It was not healthy. And so if there's anything of disordered eating in your background or that you struggle with, that's something we would love to chat with about. And so for me, tracking, the benefits of tracking is something I only do for knowledge. If I feel like I'm off of my goals, I just might take a day or two and track either on a piece of paper or on one of those free MyFitnessPal apps, just so I have an understanding of, oh, I'm just not eating enough. So of course I'm not recovering. I'm not eating enough calories, or especially for most women, I'm not getting enough protein. And it's very helpful to take a couple of days and just to have it for knowledge and understanding. And that's something that, aside from this Zoom today, we can definitely chat more about that. But this is knowledge is power. This is really helpful to know what you need. And if you've never tracked how much protein you're getting in a day, that's really important because as we age, we lose our muscle mass. We're not replenishing it with good protein. And Amanda's going to talk about what kind of protein is really quality and safe and helpful, because again, there's certain kind of proteins that's better for our bodies as we age, that we're more efficient at breaking down and our body is able to utilize it and absorb it much better. So we'll look at the next slide of not skipping breakfast, breaking our fast. Amanda.
Yeah, so it is important that you are getting enough protein. And as Christine and I have talked back and forth, like her advice when she works with clients as a personal trainer is getting somewhere between 70 and 100 grams of protein is kind of a good average. And so most of us need to start getting that in early in the day. And so if you're like a lot of adults out there, you may be skipping breakfast. Somehow coffee has now become the most unacceptable breakfast, and it's really not. If you find yourself kind of lagging by the mid morning or the afternoon, you have a headache, and you've just had coffee as your breakfast, that's not enough. You've had a fast all day long or all night long, excuse me. And so you really, if you want to fuel your body for the workout, you can't just play catch up for all of that in the afternoon or by lunchtime. So our encouragement is that you do start with breakfast, and because getting all that protein in throughout the day is really important. Your body can only absorb like around 30 grams of protein at one sitting. So even if you eat more of that later in the day, your body actually doesn't absorb it. So start in the morning, give your body the fuel that it needs right from the get-go. And we can talk with you about ideas on that if you're one of those people that feels like they don't have a huge appetite in the morning. So I love talking about protein. This is one of my favorite things because I feel like this made the biggest difference for me in my fitness level and my body composition. And so I want to share this information with you. So if you only take away if you walk away with only a few things to hold on to, I want you to remember these things. This is something I didn't learn till later on in life. So it's important, and listen up. So we have about a 5% loss of muscle mass per decade starting at the age of 30. I'm going to say that again for all of you athletes out there that are nearing the age of 30 or after that. We lose 5% of our muscle mass per decade starting at the age of 30. Okay. So if you're feeling like you're not able to do what you used to be able to do in your sport, this could be a key part of that. So muscle is the motor for all the fun things that we like to do. Whatever sport it is, you've got to have that strong muscle to be able to do that. And particularly for women and men, but for women in particular, as we change and age, that has a huge effect on our body composition. That's why you hear women in their 40s and 50s talk about, oh, I'm gaining weight and I don't know why. And I haven't really changed how I've eaten, but now as I move into my 40s, whatever reason, I'm gaining weight, and particularly kind of around the midsection. I can't get rid of it. This is why. It's because we're losing our muscle mass. We're losing that metabolic engine, and then we are keeping on more weight, gaining weight, keeping those calories. Second major point, as we age, assimilation of amino acids, those are the building blocks of proteins, assimilation of amino acids from protein decreases with age, so that by the time we reach the age of 50, we require 50% more protein than the RDA, or recommended daily amount, in order to build muscle. So not only are we losing muscle mass as we age, we don't do as good of job as we're aging of absorbing and then making that protein that we digest into muscle on our bodies. So those are really two key important things for you to remember to be successful at your sport. You need muscle, but we're losing muscle mass as we age, and we have a harder time building it. So I know that creates a like bleak picture, and I don't want to do that because there is things that we can do for it, but I want you to understand that so that you know why it's so vital that you be proactive in order to stay active. So when it comes to competition or big events, when we put out a lot of energy, we have muscle breakdown. And that's why then for recovery, it's just as important as all of your other training is that you are recovering. So something to kind of take away is it doesn't matter how much practice you put into your skill or whatever it is that you have for your sport. Your body can only function at the capacity that you give it. So if you have lower muscle mass and you're in your second day of a tournament, you're not going to be able to do that throw like you would normally. So that's where it's not only as we age, but then as we participate and have these high level of competition, you've got to give your body what it needs to recover. I think of it as the finish line for whatever your sport was, or whatever your competition was, whatever that finish line. Remember, that's going to be your starting point for the next game later that day, or for your workout the next day. And that's why it's really important that then you replace that muscle mass. So you have to be proactive. So on these two slides, the previous one was on LifeShake, and that is probably the biggest single product that's made the biggest impact for me. If you want to start with one product to help in your sports performance and change your body composition, this would be my recommendation. It gives you 20 grams, depending on which one you take, 20 to 30 grams of protein, non-GMO. We have plant-based, we have soy, and we have whey protein. So there's a variety of choices based on what your needs are. And the biggest thing that's most important to put, or I guess to take away, or that's to help in those gaps that I just talked about, is our ability to make protein. Is that it's not only just getting protein, it's getting protein with the right essential amino acids in the right amount. And the most key one would be leucine, as you can see there. So leucine does a couple of things that's really important for protein and for our body composition, is that it stimulates protein synthesis more than any other amino acid. It even promotes that postprandial, which means even longer after we eat, it's still promoting synthesis of protein. It increases mitochondrial biogenesis. Mitochondria are those little engines in our cells that create energy, and it decreases energy stores in fat cells. So it basically works in every possible way to help in our body composition. And it is going to give you a big chunk of what you need towards getting that protein. And what I love about it is that it's convenient. We know that it's clean. Because the problem with saying let's just get more protein is that we know there's concerns with like completely raising your increase of animal proteins. There's some risks that come with that. So this gives you a low cholesterol, really great nutrient dense way of getting that protein in your diet. And like I said, we have it in a variety on that next slide. is an option for a build protein that basically, what I would say about that is that it is for those really, you can utilize that for those really, really intense workouts, or like say after like a tournament, a day at a tournament, to where you know you're going to have a greater amount of muscle breakdown than you would with your average workout. Anything you'd add to that, Christine?
I would say I love these two slides. And like you, the number one thing I would recommend, and especially when we have breakdown, so to speak, with our bodies, but also if we are recovering from an injury. So my older son was a D1 football player, and he had, from his sophomore year in high school to his senior in college, 5 surgeries. And the biggest help in him recovering and rebuilding that muscle was double downing on this build, especially this product called Build, the post-recovery workout one. And I remember I think his nutritionist at school had told him, just go get the weight gainer. And he said, Mom, what should I do? I said, double down on this stuff and eat quality protein and get a lot more in your system. And it really was helping him build back that lean muscle, not the fat, and just really him able to perform again. So this is essential in what our body does. And like you said, the protein synthesis, having the right kind of all 9 essential amino acids to carry out that, for our bodies, for our cells to replicate and get stronger. So yeah,
Thanks,
I love it. I love it.
And one other thing I'll add real quickly to that that I didn't mention is, being the science nerd that I am, I can go into lots more detail if people want that information, is that we do have the clinical studies behind this. And these are peer-reviewed clinical studies done by other, some of them are done at universities. But of the LifeShake, in both short term for like weight loss and long term, and looking at like being able to maintain and keep that muscle mass, there's been multiple studies done, and they all confirm basically the same thing. In those studies, people lost 14 pounds of fat and gained 3 to 4 pounds of muscle. So basically, your body composition is moving 17 to 18 pounds in the right direction, which is huge for us women as we get into our 40s and 50s, and that just becomes more and more difficult. And so I think that's really key to remember. So I just wanted to kind of just share a quick nugget on the clinical studies proving that.
No, that's excellent. I love that. Well, moving on, as far as the 5 solutions we have found: proper nutrition, especially protein, number 2, and then hydration. And this is definitely, and you've heard this, if you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. And the number one thing when people have headaches or cramps or muscle aches or possibly pulling muscles and not recovering, a lot of it is just that our cells are not hydrated. And so even during any kind of physical activity, especially endurance ones, when you're going over 50, 55 minutes, you've got to have those electrolytes to replace the lost fluids. And I think for us, we don't think this happens. It's crazy. In our early teens, our bodies just can, I don't know, it feels like they can make up for the lack of nutrition. But as we get older, we definitely see that fatigue. Even if you're watching some elite athletes, and I just can remember back from, the COVID years with some of the NFL, and just so many cases of people just pulling this muscle, pulling that muscle, tearing this, tearing that, and thinking about just what you put your body under. And then hydration is a big part of just performance, elite performance, and to really get back into that. So replacing lost electrolytes is huge. And again, electrolytes help regulate nerve, muscle function, and to optimize it. So here's the thing. It's interesting. I was Googling, what some of the top elite athletes are, and a lot of them on the sidelines have their own electrolyte lemon forward drink. They're not using the sponsored, big brands out there that have a lot of the artificial flavors, coloring, dyes, sweeteners, sugar. They're not having it. And so I think we are bombarded by marketing to say that these kind of replacement electrolyte drinks are good. And by droves, our kids and kids programs are getting them on the sidelines, and they're not great. I mean, as far as like the name brand ones that you'll see in this little caution tape in this slide, that they promote tooth decay. There's too much sugar in them. So what I love is, again, going back to what Amanda said about having a product that is safe, it's proven, it's quality. Shaklee does have a product that is electrolyte, and it's got all the full spectrum of electrolytes and really does hydrate you faster than water. It's my favorite. I've used it for any kind of workouts and recovery, and it's lemon, lime, and orange. It's really good in sustaining. Anything you'd add to that, Amanda?
I think the only thing that comes to mind, again, going to the clinical studies, my science background is that Shaklee does have clinical studies that show in elite cyclist athletes, those using water, those using other rehydration drinks, and those using Shaklee's Hydrate. It's astounding and it's with the same athletes, but using different products, the increased endurance that they have with Shaklee's product. And then it is the same, it's slightly different, but based off of the drink that NASA had Shaklee create for their astronauts. So it's used at elite levels and has the clinical, when, you know, NASA has the opportunity to use products from anybody, and they chose this one, obviously, because it works. So it is effective.
I love that. So that is a significant thing that helps with recovery, maximum recovery, is choosing your hydration and choosing it well. A fourth thing, sorry, is sleep. Again, vital to recovery. This is when your body is at rest. Your body is basically recovering, your muscles, productivity, your brain health, hormones are getting balanced out. There is such evidence that getting enough sleep, and I think on average, if you Google things like this, it would say, 7 to 8 hours. But I was so curious to see what some of the elite athletes get in their sleep and recovery. And like, if you Google Tom Brady's nighttime routine, it's crazy. It's so intentional and planned out when he goes to bed, what his room environment is like. And again, just recently I got rid of my phone out of my room. I use a different alarm clock now. So not having the electronics when you are shutting that down, a good 2 hours, as well as not eating 2 hours before, not having the caffeine, having blue blockers, all those things helping your body to wind down. LeBron James, Googling him, it was 12 hours. Steph Curry was like 10 and a half hours, and then 2 hours a nap before his game days. So these people that are the elite of elite in their sport, and they're prioritizing sleep. And I think sometimes with the Netflix and the movies and the watching, we get into rhythms that we're just not getting the right kind of sleep or enough of it. And sometimes supplementation is necessary. I know some of my friends, and even just recently, melatonin has become something that, like, my husband has used. And then on the Dream Serene, the one left, it's finding something that's safe, that is allowing you to fall asleep, but also giving your body the nutrients and just the right amount of ingredients. So in this one, I think the melatonin is 2 milligrams, but just enough that it really lets you sleep better. And there's also patent pending, which I love. It's valerian. It's just some nutrients in there too that really helps you safely get that sleep in. And here's the thing: when we're not sleeping well, and our bodies and our minds are not slowing down or resting, the stress hormones take off. And that, again, is what causes elevating stress, elevates the cortisol, the hormone. It also just is long-term studies of health issues. When we have stress that we just never wind down, we're always in that sympathetic nervous system, never the parasympathetic, where we really relax and calm state. So this stress relief complex, I really love. It's non-drowsy, but it also really is a safe way to help you release that tension, gives you more relaxed state, more alert. And again, stress, it affects our weight loss. When we are not getting enough rest as well and sleep, basically our satiety hormones, the leptin and ghrelin, they're off. They're just off. They're not balanced. And so we wake up and we're not starting out basically on the right foot. And so because our hormones from the night before have not gotten balanced and back to really good regulated numbers. So much to sleep, how it affects our weight, our performance, our acuity, and long-term health benefits from that too.
Okay, so thanks, Christine. So we've mentioned kind of the our nutritional needs, but it really can be hard on a daily basis. I mean, I'm not getting 5 to 7 fruits and vegetables every day, particularly in the wintertime. It can be hard. And so based on our diet, maybe where we live, our genetic predisposition, we may have gaps in our diet that need to be filled. And so I am a proponent of supplementation in terms of vitamins and minerals. And not that it's because, oh, you don't need to eat any of that stuff, just take it in a pill. It's that, yes, we want you to get a varied diet, but in our life, realistically, we're not going to get that every single day. So I do recommend supplementing. And I think it also is dependent on issues that you might be having. So for some folks, they might have migraines or PMS or digestive problems. For women who have terrible cramps, that's going to knock you out, anywhere from 3 to 5 days from your fitness plan, from your performance, every single month. And I guess my encouragement is to let you know that we have natural solutions that can help with that and help get you kind of back on track faster. So again, Shaklee's created, I think they were actually Shaklee, if you didn't, I didn't know this before I had been introduced to the company, they created the first multivitamin. So they are the inventor of the multivitamin here in the US. And they've perfected it to get the nutrients that your body needs. And so Vitalizer is one of those products that kind of makes it easy. It puts everything in, again, those nutrients that we know we have clinical research for that are beneficial for the body, a multivitamin, additional vitamin B and C, your omegas, a probiotic, all in one simple strip. And I mean, there's other products as well that we could tailor it towards what you need. This is one of my favorites because it does make it easier. So if you need help, like I mentioned, migraines, or if there's a specific problem that you continue to have that maybe you'd like a natural solution for, Christine and I would love to talk with you individually about that and find what's going to work best for you. But we do recommend supplementing to fill in those gaps that we're all going to have in our diet. Vitalizer is one of my favorite products that helps do that.
Yes, I think I've been taking it for 10 years and I love it. Now I've upgraded to the gold, to the when you're kind of 50 and above. But it's great. I
Working
love
well
it.
for you, obviously.
It is. So recovery, again, this is what's, if we're not recovering from our pursuits and our sports or whatever we are doing, then that really is one of the number one things, pain, and we're not recovering, that we choose and we're just not getting back into our sports or going back into the gym or putting back on our running shoes or on our bikes or whatever. And so sometimes we do overexert ourselves, and we might need to have a supplement. We might need to have some kind of relief. And what I love about this recovery, it's not just for that that DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, or post-workout soreness, but really it helps improve sleep quality. It's really good. I have loved this. And again, if you were to Google tart cherry extract, another clinical study that's proven to have optimized recovery and reduce that soreness, it's great. And this again is ultra pure. I love it. But again, what's in it and also what's not in it, that's safer for your body. So this is one of my go-tos. It's in my herbal medicine cabinet. It's something I use often. And my kids, my teens have used this when they've needed to, especially the ones that have been in the, the athletic D1 sport. That was something he used every single night to recover for the next day. And I'll say one thing before we start wrapping up is collagen. I know I didn't have it on here, but this again is one of my favorite ways to recover. And as we age, we lose the muscle mass, but also our body is making less collagen, and we're not absorbing as much. So finding all 9 essential amino acids with the collagen product is really important to really promote the structure and strength to our bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, really important. And so if you're looking for a good collagen product, I have a great recommendation for you as well.
Okay, so we've talked about kind of what the status quo is. We know what's going to happen to our bodies as we age. And like I mentioned, if you just focus only on that, that could create kind of a bleak picture. And you might be feeling it if you've had some injuries and you feel like recovery's taken longer. But our encouragement for you today is to know that you can make some choices that will help you. You just have to be intentional. You have to start thinking about, how am I preparing my body for competition or working out, and then how can I recover? So as you can see there, we've talked about how do we build that energy and have the right nutrients on board so that we're ready to go for our workouts. Are we rehydrating during and after workouts? And then are we giving our body the nutrients and particularly the protein that we need to build muscle mass, and to recover from those tough workouts? So we want to just encourage you that there's things that you can do. I feel like we are both thriving at being able to enjoy the things, the sports that we love, but we've had to make choices to do that. So we want to work with you one-on-one if you have specific issues that you want to go through. And I want to just thank you guys for jumping on. We invited you here because we respect you as athletes. We see what you're doing and the work that you're putting into it, and we just want to help you find healthy, natural solutions that allow you to keep doing what you love. If I could give you some, just emphasize the biggest takeaways that I would encourage you to think about here today, is that it's just all about the preparation, and to remember that we expect amazing things from our bodies. We have to start giving it the right fuel. Like Christine mentioned, when we're teens, we can get away with that. And as I talked about, but that deficit is just going to continue to grow if you're not giving your body what it needs. So have a proactive mindset about it. Remember, where you finish from a workout or a game or a competition, that's going to be your starting line for your next workout or competition or tournament. So you've got to be proactive to get yourself back to where you were. And we can help you with that. If you are a skeptic like me, let us know. We can talk through any questions that you have. And if you find yourself as an athlete not where you want to be, I would encourage you, give us 3 months of working with you and following some of these guidelines and principles. Give it 3 months, and I bet we will get you where you need to be.
I agree. I love that. Yes, please give us 3 months or more. We would love it. And again, we both have reach out to whoever invited you. And if this resonates with someone that you know from your gym or from your team, your club, or your workout buddy, please share this with them, because we would love to sit down. We offer free little consults. We have an assessment, a nutrition assessment that we go over with new clients, and it's really helpful. It gives us a broad spectrum of just where you are in your health goals, but also it narrows down to a really cool algorithm of what you input with your dietary habits, your goals, doctor recommendations, and we really love to go over that with people. Today, Cyber Monday, if there's something that resonates with you, today is the end of a $20 off of an order of 100, and we'd love to help you utilize that and take advantage of that if that's something that you found. Whether it's trying some of the recovery or protein or any of these things, let us help you dial that in. And if for whatever reason you see this after Cyber Monday, we always have some good savings and some promotions that we want to share with you too. So if it doesn't work out today, we still have great savings for you as well. And honestly, I love doing this with teams, and I've been a part of teams my whole life. Now I'm a part of a wellness team and tribe that we truly love helping share the gift of health with others. And for both Amanda and I, it's something that we get to really enjoy. And it's an income, but also an opportunity to really serve well clients and customers in making them feel their best. And for us, especially with this chat today, in their sport and in their exercise and in their workouts. We love it. So if this is something that you thought, you know what, I would love additional stream of income in any kind of way, or I just want to get all these awesome products for a discount, let us know. We have a solution for you as well. Thanks again for joining us. We are grateful for just your time, and please reach out to us with any questions, and we look forward to connecting with you even more. Take care. And did I stop?